Hey, it's Chip Collins with Collins Group Realty. I'm here with Chris Sanders, who is our strategic advisor. And today we're just going to walk you through a case study, a recent case study of a massively successful downsizing experience for clients of ours, right, Chris? And so downsizing is put on top of what's already a stressful transaction, which is selling your home, moving, etc. Then you've got this component, which is folks that have lived in their house. Oh my goodness, sometimes it's 20, 30, 40 years. And what do we do when we live in our house for a long time? We accumulate stuff. And the other thing that happens is we get comfortable with it, right? We get used to things kind of being in a certain condition. In fact, you sort of get used to living in your home, right? And so these folks came to our downsizing workshop and love these people. And I actually knew them from before slightly. And so when they came, I was so delighted that they came. And we love educating folks just like we are now about downsizing, what the process is. And they sat there intently and listened to it. And at the end of our workshop, we invite folks to just call us over for an on-site consultation, right? Just let us, invite us into your home way, way, way ahead of the time that you're thinking about downsizing so we can get our eyes on it and just talk about maybe some of the bigger topics that might need to be tackled.
I think so. And the other thing is when we came to that on-site consultation, when we first walked in the door, it seemed like they were really overwhelmed. I mean, just not all the stuff that they had to deal with, but the whole process, what the future looked like. Everything was overwhelming. It was extraordinarily stressful. And we were able to really break that down step by step. And we had solutions for all of their concerns. And through that course of that on-site consultation, Chip, I just saw the stress just kind of erode away. And it was really, really rewarding.
Because the plan was unfolding, right? Yeah. And part of the plan, by the way, which wasn't entirely in our control because they were ultimately downsizing into a product that we don't sell. They were downsizing into a assisted care facility. And so we had questions about, well, what's that timeline look like? And what's the chicken and egg? So do you sell first? Do you buy first? And how does that all kind of go? And that all kind of came out on the table during that meeting. And so we talked to them about property condition. We talked to them about our visual strategy expectations. We talked about repairs. We talked about staging. Yes. We talked about clutter, and we talked about stuff.
I mean, when you live in a house for a long period of time, you just get so familiar or so comfortable with how it is, you don't see it from somebody else's perspective.
Right.
And so you don't pay attention to everything. I mean, you've kind of gotten used to the way things look and feel. And sometimes just little tweaks here and there can make a huge difference.
Right. And other times, big changes need to happen. Like when we went into one room and they were effectively using that entire bonus room as a storage room, which we couldn't even photograph to sell that property. We walked into that room and it had been sort of worn and torn, and so the carpeting was all worn out, etc., and that needed to be replaced. We went into a guest bathroom. They were using that for some storage as well. Like the story just kind of went on and on.
That's right. That bonus room was such a great addition to that. Is a great selling feature of that house, and you couldn't even see it. So when we went through that and put a plan together of how to get that room back to where it was supposed to be, it just turned into a highlight.
Yeah, and the thing is that one of the other things we always talk about is build your team. It's a main theme in our downsizing discussion is who's going to be on your team, because these folks clearly were not in a position to be able to do it fully on their own. I mean, there was years and years of accumulation and other things that needed to be taken care of in a relatively short period of time based on their timeline. So they had family members get involved. And they said, okay, Chip and Chris, who do we use as your downsizing expert? And where do I take all this stuff? And can I donate it? Can I sell it? And we went down the whole list. And then as we left that on-site consultation, they basically had their marching orders. They had their strategy plan in hand. They did. And we gave them some breathing room.
And kudos to them too, because they followed it. They followed it line by line. They took notes and they took it seriously. And the thing that's so cool is all that work and all the effort that they did on their part to just go through this like it was a course, it resulted in probably at least $100,000 better sale price than they could have gotten if they ignored all these things.
All day long. I mean, the house is the house, the real estate's the real estate, right? All that stuff didn't change. They didn't add anything on. They didn't renovate. They changed out some carpet. but they needed to materialize the product into something that was truly compelling in today's standard. The visual strategy, the photography, the videography, all that we brought to the table ultimately when they delivered us the product we were hoping for. Yes. And then we were just able to hit it out of the park in terms of getting the market to be responsive.
I mean, how many times have we had agents call us and say, hey, we want to come look at one of your listings, but we don't allow it. We don't allow it because we know the property's not ready. And how many times do they say, oh, it doesn't matter. We can see past all of that.
Right.
But the reality is they don't see past it.
Correct. No, and the camera doesn't see past it either, right? All that stuff. So it takes time. And I think that was the main thing that I was so grateful for these folks is that they came early to the process and they allowed a relaxed discussion and they allowed a consultation. They allowed a strategy to unfold. They allowed for team members to get involved. They frankly gave time for other valued vendors involved in the process to have their time to get the work done. I mean, it was probably all told well over a year-long process from the time they first came to the downsizing workshop to the point they decided it was time to have a consult, and then months of effort really to get to the point where we're able to get the property sold.
That's right.
It was really a great example of what this process looks like. And as I said, that's all this extra layer on top of a real estate transaction, which already has all of its nuances and details and aspects that can in and of themselves be stressful. So for us, it was a home run.
It was rewarding.
We had a great time. They were thrilled. Family members were thrilled. We've got a great testimonial online. That's and right. And you know, for us, I think at the end of the day, we can clearly call these folks clients for life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.